I love an excuse to play this. Because there's new Star Wars, guys. Happy Star Wars time. Always comes around this sort of time of year, doesn't it? Brand new Star Wars TV. Now, I love a Star War, me. Seen them all. Love a Star War. I like the Star War where there's the big dog robot things. I like the Star War where Princess Leia flies through space. I love that Star War. I don't love the Star War where Han Solo figures out he should be called Solo because he's on his own. But every other Star War, love it. Oh, I love the Star War with they're all moody and one of them's a spy and there's like 8 episodes or something. Andrew Serkis is in it. That's the best Star War. But brand new Star War. But is it any good? Ahsoka is on Disney Plus. I think it's sort of meant to be like, bear with me on this, but I think it's sort of meant to be like a follow-up to an animated series or something. Even I'm losing track of all the Star Wars. So let's speak to an expert. Film critic Van Connor joins us now. Hello to you, Van.
Hello, Danny. It's always a cause to celebrate a Star Wars, as you say.
You shouldn't celebrate many sorts of war, but a Star War, good. Good.
Yeah, usually. There's been exceptions. As you mentioned Solo, you know.
Yeah. Or the Star War where somehow the Emperor came back.
Yeah, that is pretty much the worst
Bad
one.
Star War, when he's shooting all those spaceships with his electrics. Didn't like it.
Riding the space horses across the Star Destroyers.
Didn't like it. Didn't like that Star War. But what about this new Star War? Is it a good war?
This new Star War is a good war. I watched this. I had the pleasure of watching the first 2 episodes of this, and I mean, it's arguably peak Star War. It kind of caters to everyone. Noticeably, as you point out, the fans of that animated show as well. Because I haven't seen Rebels. I think it's Rebels that it follows on from.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it now because I'm intrigued by some of the characters on this. So this is basically a female-led Star War.
A woman.
This has Ahsoka in it, Ahsoka Tano, who's played by Rosario Dawson. She appeared in The Mandalorian.
She's great, yeah.
The character had debuted in the Clone Wars, and I saw a Clone Wars movie in 2008 that introduced her, apparently. She kind of got set up in that series. She is Anakin's previously unmentioned apprentice.
Yes.
And then she went off and joined the Rebels crew in that series. And then she got introduced in live action with The Mandalorian, and now she's got her own show where she's off on her own mission. And it's got a bit of that. Do you remember the beginning of Attack of the Clones when you had Obi-Wan going full Jedi detective?
Yes.
It's kind of like that, but it's set, after the fall of the Empire, and there's all the, the politics of the moment, and how can we trust the people who used to serve the Empire? And something quite timely about that, actually, in a strange way.
Is it good if maybe you've got a little bit sick of all the pew 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 and the bzum bzum? Is it still good?
It's still good. It's actually quite light on that. It's mostly lightsaber battling so far. There's like 3 or 4 good lightsaber battles in it. It's just got a great cast. You've got characters who have fans from the animated series, like I say, like Sabine Wren and Hera, and they're brought to the screen here in live action form. You get Hera, for instance, is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is just as gorgeous in green as she is in regular human skin tones. It has to be said. And incidentally, the series does not lack for absolutely beautiful, domineering, space ladies. Has to be said for that. Led, of course, by none other than Rosario Dawson. But they are mostly lightsaber battling so far. In the first 2 episodes, at least. You've also got though really good cast members like Clancy Brown and the late great Ray Stevenson, who passed recently.
Brilliant.
Apparently, he's called a Grey Jedi. I didn't know this was a thing.
That's the thing. They've made it up. They've made it up.
They're Gandalfing this now.
Yeah, we'll just make it as they go along.
We'll get to colours. Yeah,
we'll get to Gandalf in a minute. I've got something to ask you about that as well.
Sure.
But when I see these sort of things, because Star Wars, once upon a time, I'm old enough to remember this, right? Just Star Wars was
3 films, and that was it.
Yeah, there was 3 movies, right? And then they made another 3 and an animated movie and an animated series and another animated series and then 3 more movies and then 2 spin-off movies. And then they've announced loads of other movies and they've got this series and that series. This series you need to watch before you watch this series. And it's just so much Star Waring. I'm losing it. And now Mr. Krabs is in this Star War, like you say, and Clancy Brown's. And then you just get to a point where I'm like, I can't even me, who will play all the Star Wars games and read all the Star Wars books, even me, I'm just going, there's so much story here that I'm starting to lose the thread of what I'm meant to be thinking and where we actually are. And there's a baby Yoda or an old Yoda or a dead Yoda. And is it too much Star Wars? Are we done on Star Wars, or is this genuinely something that you can come to fresh without really any knowledge of Star Wars beyond the basic stuff and still enjoy?
I think, to be honest, this one is quite continuity heavy in terms of, like, you know, the established universe. I mean, there's, like I say, I've not seen Rebels. It's not a show I've watched. I've been told by lesser people than myself that I'm not a real fan if I've never seen the Clone Wars.
No, you're not.
A series which, incidentally, you can watch on Disney Plus, but you have to create your own order for it because it's not actually been released in the order that it follows chronologically, which is complete garbage. And I'm sorry, but these things shouldn't require homework.
No.
But I did sit and I did enjoy Ahsoka. Like, they explain enough that I'm like, okay, I get this. This is cool. Fine, I get it. You know, it's all good. Like I say, the action, the style. I mean, it's basically it's a bevy for production fans.
Really,
like it's got, you know, the great costume work, the fantastic production design, the cinematography. Like, I have to imagine everyone that goes to work on anything Star Wars related is a fan of Star Wars. Maybe not all of it, because as you point out, there's so much of it now.
Yeah.
They have to be a Star Wars fanatic. In a lot of cases, they will have gotten into the game because of Star Wars. And they really do bring that love to the screen. Like the opening of the very first episode of Ahsoka, I was just taken in immediately by the costumes. And I was like, these look like costumes from like 1983. They could have literally stepped out the 80s. I'm with you, incidentally. When I was coming up, it was 3 movies and the Ewok flicks, and that was it.
Yes, I've
That's
got
all we
the
had.
Ewok ones as well. Oh no! Oh! You know what? I'm going to watch it because I've given all Star. I sat through the Book of Boba Fett, which was very difficult for me. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, same.
And I've given up on the Mandalorian because it had Lizzo and Jack Black throwing big silver balls at a ring, and I didn't really know what was going on at that point. But I'm going to try Ahsoka. I'm going to give it a good go and see if I enjoy it. If it's, like you say, if it's got good lightsaber battles, as long as when everyone's out of the house, can stand in front of the mirror making lightsaber sounds, holding a Lynx deodorant in my hand, I'm good, basically.
Hey, you know what? This one has at least got David Tennant as the droid of choice this week.
Well,
so that's worth it.
Why did you say earlier? Why did you leave that till now? David Tennant's there. I'm in. I'm done.
It's a cherry on top, sir. That's what that is.
Oh, fantastic. I'm watching it tonight. I've got to see what he's up to, my boy Dave. Perfect. Brilliant. Okay, what are we rating it then, if you had to give it a rating, this new Star Wars series, Ahsoka?
Based on the first 2 episodes, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it.
That's good. That is good.
I mean, I'll be really honest. I mean, Sabine Wren on her own is going to be every cosplaying lady's like pick of choice this Halloween.
I've seen Rebels, the animated series, a lot of it, and I think Sabine is the best character in there anyway.
She's the best here as well. She's awesome.
Interesting.
I'm madly in love with Sabine Wren already.
Should have just been her show, maybe. Who knows? Thank you, Van. Now, before you go, somebody in the office, Emily, she's a lovely girl, but she announced that Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings are for losers earlier. She says she's not seen them. Well, she's seen a couple of Harry Potters, she didn't like it, and she's got no interest in watching Lord of the Rings. And it's been a furious debate on my show. I've had people on both sides. I've had one guy fall out with his goddaughter. But I just need to know your view on this. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, are they for losers?
They are not in any way for losers. Harry Potter, maybe a bit for Harry Potter, but that's only because their fans make it that way. Lord of the Rings is boss.
I love Lord of the Rings. A cinema near me is showing Lord of the Rings extended edition, and I'm thinking that is my idea of an ideal evening, ideal day. Yeah. I would happily sit and do that.
Just skip the Hobbit ones for me, but Lord of the Rings definitely.
Yeah. See, the man has spoken. Van, if you want to find out more about you, where can they go?
Just find me on podcast platforms on the Off Screen Show.
Perfect, nice one. Van Connor, all the best. Thank you. May the force be with you.